And it looks like my next guest is going to be Rhonda. So let's go bring Rhonda into the live on air channel. Rhonda, I believe, has one of the sharpest wits that I have found in any part of the Minnow Support Project. At times, I've seen her turn that towards me. That's challenging. At times, I think she turns it on herself. At the moment, I think that we see this one about to be going towards Transisto. So, Rhonda, you're on the air. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Am I right about that, Rhonda? That the sharpened wit, like a whetted knife, might be headed over toward Transistor's way at the moment.
Well, I am not really happy with what he's doing, but I'm not going to like go after him either. And that's what I think a lot of people, I will state my opinion, and sometimes my opinion people don't care for. I don't tend to put much padding around it. I just say what I think, and you know, I don't want to get into a battle with him. He'll kill me. I don't have enough SP to to finish it if I start it. But this is um the first whale battle thing that I've ever even had any desire to weigh in on. And that's because he's come over into my wheelhouse now. He's come over into fiction, and this is concerning for me.
Yeah, well, the piece that does, what taking aside this one flag for a moment, the piece of like Steam, it's not a good place to put books. One, I frankly think it's wrong, and two, that I can see how that might be harmful to the mission of your group. So,
Oh yes, absolutely. And that's when I read that, I'm like, what is he smoking?
yep,
Because Steam It is the best platform for that I've ever worked with. And I understand there are other things there, the places that people are doing, and there's Wattpad and whatever, but personally, me, Steam It's the best one that I've worked with myself, and I would love to see this aspect of it grow. And now here is someone with considerable influence and voting power saying, no, we don't want that. Poop kick, see
yeah,
ya. And that's discouraging. And it's and I got to say something about it. I can't just take this one lying down aggro. I
uh,
can't do that.
well, I'm not, again, my recommendation has not been shut up and eat the downvote. My recommendation has been, rally around it and make some unintended consequences happen, and use it as a rallying cry, and use it to unite your folks, and use it to, go drum up some great examples of how serialized posts can actually lead to books, or how that is part of the plan, or talk about your mission. But frankly, in some ways, this might be one of the single best things that could happen, because it's going to go put a major whales flag right on your post and drag them into this, and see if you can't get other whales to rally to your cause, and start paying attention to some of the other things that are part of the fiction workshop. So before you burn every single bridge, I'd say, hey, keep in mind, this might actually be a boon if you guys play your cards right around it.
Well, when I heard you say that earlier, I got, it made me pretty happy, because I've been in conversation in DM with someone all day over this. I mean, literally, this has consumed my entire day. And that is really what we had come around to. We were saying, there's a bunch of us, and we're going to make posts, and we're going to write posts, and we're going to post them. And we understand that we may get thumped. We understand. But I know my post in particular, I'm going to try to word it very mildly, because I don't want to come at this guns a blazing. Not because I'm afraid of Transisto, and I am afraid of getting pounded in the dirt, but that's not my point. I need to make my point clear on this, and I don't need to get it, and it won't be clear if there's a lot of emotion behind it. So, I'm working very hard to keep it, very logical and very even kill. And I think I commented back on his comment on the flag post, and he responded to one of them, and it seemed like we had a fairly vanilla discussion.
Okay.
And I'll take that. I mean, I'll take that. And so I want to do exactly what you said. I want to definitely for us to all do some posts and make our side of the present our side of this issue and explain why Steam It is a great place to have novels. And you're so right, it's not the time to go transisto with a fill in the blank. That's not what this is about. It's about, what we agree with. We're not fans of rewarding shit posts either.
Yeah,
But
that's a great opening line, But then you get to say, but this is not an example of a shit post. What the fuck are you doing?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Michelle has brought a lot of value to Steam It. There are people who log on by their own admissions in their comments. They log on to Steam It every day to see what she's posted, to read the next installment of what she's posted. They're fiction fans. Block Trades is obviously a fan. It's this she's bringing. So what if she's successful? Why should that bother anyone? That's the best thing in the world for the platform. That's what we want, isn't it? And to see someone jump on this as if it's a cancer, that's troubling on a couple of levels.
Yeah, well, get it out there. If you can make that balance of doing it like, hey, we don't like shit posts either. This is an example of a shit post. We actually think quite the opposite. This is so I'm in sales, right? And like I get objections all the time, and this is stronger than an objection because this is like more not just a no, but a no, and here's a negative consequence. But like, I use the what is it's like thought felt feel. I forget exactly what the term is, but it's basically like, I can understand why you might have thought that at first. Here are some challenges of why that would be. But then I experienced this, and here's this alternate experience that I've had, and now this is what I'm experiencing today and this is why I view this thing differently. So when I'm trying to do jujitsu on people, that's sort of like, I can understand where you're coming from, but then I experience this, and this is how I see it now, is usually a pretty good way to like start trying to shift the battleship or like move a position. Because rather than just like come out and say, your shit has no merit, then the defenses go up and it gets like this really hard conversation and it doesn't progress the way that you want. But you can say like, okay, I can understand where you're coming from as a whale. You want to make sure that posts are appropriately valued, and we can appreciate some of that. But there's this one part that concerns me where you're also talking about that this isn't a good spot for books. Let me go explain something different because you're not in this world every single day. Here's been some of my experience of how this platform might work. And then now I feel totally differently. And if you can do that, I can resteam it. I'm sure that there's some other people in the room that'll resteam this. And, my only concern on this is like, if you do end up going into the like, look, you motherfucker, I'm going to go cut your fucking balls off side of this, then like, all right, I probably don't want to resteam that one. But
No.
if you can keep this into the like, hey, we appreciate some of the argument, but here's how we're experiencing this. Here's this entire group and movement around the exact thing that you said can't happen. So there's a whole union of us that completely disagree with you, and here's where it's heading, and give us some transparency on that. That again, I think that flag might end up getting you way more. His unintended consequences are going to end up getting you a shitload of publicity for this, and if you guys can play the game well, then you will benefit, and it should be stellar for the writer's block.
Well, I agree. I do, and I think that is very sound. It's wise advice, and that's where I think we're going. I'm not even angry. I mean, this didn't make me so much angry, and it didn't outrage me, as it did just scare me to death, because that is, you're correct in that he's gone straight to the heart of every reason that so many of us are on this platform. And when you take that away and you shadow over it with this threat of becoming a, you're going to become a target if you post this. That's going to have a negative consequence for a lot of people on the platform and a lot of authors. And the publishing aspect and the author aspect is the one thing I tried to stress to him, in my comment, is that how could that be a bad thing if we're going out and recruiting authors, successful authors, published authors from the mainstream, and getting them to open a Steemit account and post on that Steemit account so that they can be rewarded in cryptocurrency? How is that possibly bad for the platform?
Yeah, totally agree.
Y-
I mean, like
yeah,
Lexi put in there, like, you know, it doesn't change the fact that this flag is time and emotion draining, and it's bad for the platform as a whole. And I can't say anything. It's not like, again, I wouldn't flag it. I don't support it. I don't want to see it happening. But there's not much I can do about it because he's not one of the guys I can just sort of, hey, high five and be like, hey, that thing you did today was pretty stupid, and you kind of stuck your dick in the hornet's nest, and you were wrong about the whole thing too. So this whole thing, I think you want to reconsider it, because he's not one of the guys that I have a relationship with that, like, with. Uh, so the best I can do is provide some wise counsel, and yeah, I agree with him. I think it's bad for the platform. But the best I can do is say, hey, look, before you guys all just kind of tuck tail and run away, or just quit blogging, or like live in fear that it'll never work, like, the jujitsu here is turning that giant flag from a preeminent whale into like the biggest thing that's happened to the writer's block, and really making news out of it. And hopefully you guys leave this in like 2 months from now, be like, hey, that time you flagged us? Thanks. That was awesome. It sucked at the time, but look at what we did because of it. We never would have gotten here if you hadn't been such an ass. So thank you for that. I mean, it's going to be a weird conversation, but I think, I don't know, if you guys play your cards right, this whole thing will actually help you expand your group. And that's ultimately what you're looking for.
yes, it is, and I think. I think that the potential for that to happen is pretty high, because not only, well, see, Michelle, she did drop into the writer's block. We spoke to her once, and then of course GMUX met her at Steam Fest. There's a friendliness there. I mean, we certainly support her, and I mean that is genuine. It's the knee jerk reaction, and I went to her account and posted a supportive comment there, and there's no manipulation behind that. There's no angle. It's just real. She works hard, and she puts a lot of time into Steemit, and then to get penalized for that, I think we all feel that. I think it hits us all pretty deeply.
Well,
And so
the
there's
one,
a genuine component of this too, is that we do want to show her support and make her understand that, well, one person may have done this to her, but one person doesn't speak for the whole of Steemit.
yeah. And again, it's gonna it's gonna be a rallying call. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get like, enjoy parts of this, because it really puts you into a strong position to come out not just swinging against him, but like, hey, here's this vision, here's how we're achieving it, and this is why you guys ought to support it. And this flag is to the exact opposite of all that we stand for, and we need to rally together. And hopefully a couple weeks from now or something, the writer's block is at 500 or plus people, and you were able to go capitalize on this. That's playing the
Yeah,
game. It is
yeah.
definitely game making and playing the game, but should be should be a way to go get a win out of this, even though at the moment it looks challenging.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's coming into focus for me as the evening goes on. I mean, earlier today I messaged Gmux and I was like, and he answered back,
Yeah,
and as the evening wears on, sanity sort of prevails and logic prevails, and you sort of start to see everything that you've said, and like, yeah, there's a lot of people with strong feelings about this, and I think we're in a pretty good position. He crossed the fence over into our turf,
yeah,
and we can say something about this and be, and not be out of line.
yep.
I thought today, I had this horrible thought: what if he did this to Easy? I would die. I mean, Easy puts serialized posts on Steam It too, and he makes quite a bit of money on them, and he deserves every penny. And this could conceivably, this could conceivably grow from here if someone doesn't speak up.
Yeah.
And I guess, they ought to do something about that. Well, guess what? I'm they.
You're they. You are the they in this one. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got the job to do. I mean, you're now mama hen for a lot of writers, and one thing I'd caution. So I've been really upbeat. If I can go, this is part of just coaching, and hopefully you don't mind like a little bit of unsolicited coaching. Is just sometimes when we are at our worst, it's when we are angry on behalf of another. And it makes us, not only are we angry for them, but if we can't solve these things, we are disappointed in ourselves, and it makes us overreach sometimes from reasonable targets. And this isn't specific to you, but this is certainly one of those situations where we are angry on behalf of another. And to the best of your ability, if you can kind of calm that urge, not like, don't get rid of it because it's okay, but just try to make sure that you are not overstepping the bounds into going on offense, because if the second you go on offense, you're going to lose all the support, or like a big chunk of it. But if you can stick to your guns and stick to a positive vision and stick to like we don't like this, and here's what we're doing about it, and this is why you ought to pay attention, and here's why he's wrong, and here's all the great things we can do without attacking him personally. I think it'll go a long way, and it will be easier to not attack him personally if you can hold that I am angry on behalf of Michelle, and if I let her down, I am failing myself and this group and all this. Like, because I see it, man. I do this. I got 5,000 people that I think of as my wards. So I can get that sensation, and I can get really fucking furious, but it's not going to be helpful. So that is my word of caution, and I mean it with. I say this with respect from one community leader to another. This is what I've experienced, and I hope that advice is helpful as you create your response and go from there.
It is, Agro. It is. And, I appreciate it and I hear it. It resonates. And, some recent events that we've all been dealing with over at the block, everything you said, I'm sure there's a couple of people who are just sitting, just having a belly laugh because we've all talked about this in, some other capacity. And it's like, you get so many confirmations and validations about something. It's the collective consciousness mind meld thing that makes this place great. So, you have no idea how much I take you to be on point there. I
Awesome.
mean, absolutely. Thank you.
Well, Rhonda, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. You got a challenge ahead of you, but I think you and GMUX are up to that challenge. So, best of luck. When you have a well-written response, DM me. I'll be one of the first to go re-steam that and get that out into the world. And I'm just shy of 7,000 followers now, so that's a good set of views. Make sure you put a link to the writer's block at the bottom, because we're gonna get some eyes on it. So there you go. That's what I got for you. So,
well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, that was Rhonda. Rhonda is the one of the co-founders of the Writer's Block, along with GMUX, and they're doing a fantastic job. She didn't share too much because she can be a little humble about these things at times, but their vision is nothing short of having a Steam-based publishing house. And what a great vision! What a great place to go! I think it can really help this place, and meaning like the Steam It ecosystem. We're gonna go play a song next, but not the way that you might have expected. So I'm gonna go bring Lima Bean onto the live on air with me right now. Lima, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, this thing is coming. So I personally reached out to Lima because I know that Lima has a background as a singer, and I myself asked her
I'm here right now.
hat in hand, if she would come onto my show and go sing a song for us. So we're going to have a musical interlude. This one will, in fact, include a live performance, the first live performance on the Minnow Mayor Town Hall. And so Lima, what are you planning on singing, and
Uh,
what are we going with here?
I don't know. I'm having a panic attack at the moment. No,
Pull it
I am
together.
gonna.
Get your shit
Okay,
together, lady. You got a song
I'm
to
getting my
sing.
shit together. Okay. Ooh, la la la.
La 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 la.
Okay, so, but can I give like a little? Can I explain why I chose this song?
Yeah, of course. Do your thing.
Okay, and I have thoughts on other things that you guys were talking about too.
Okay, well, we're gonna do the song
You're
first.
like maybe. Oh, okay, fine.
You want to
All
talk
right.
on the show? You're gonna sing.
Okay. So I had some whole internal drama on my personal server, and it really sucked for like everyone involved. And so I chose this song not just for me, but also for the other people that I may have hurt. It's about other people being jerks. It's called Bastards. It's by Kesha from her new album, which is amazing, and everyone should go buy that album because every single song is epic,
All right.
especially if you're a woman, because anyways. But yeah, so it's called Bastards.
And
And it's by
I
Kesha.
just need to say my one thing because
What?
you and I have gone back and forth a lot about this. Running these servers isn't easy, and now Rhonda and Gmux know it. Now you know it. I know it. This thing is a tricky gig, and so I can just recognize how hard things can be, especially when you're first starting. That's quite challenging, and I'm excited to hear this song. I'm not a constant listener to Kesha, so give me some lines here. Let's go.
Okay. I hope the sound is good. We're trying. I don't have a great mic. Okay, so. Got too many people got left to prove wrong. All those motherfuckers been mean for too long. And I'm so sick of crying. Hey, darling, what's it for? Yeah, I could fight forever. Oh, life's too short. Don't let the bastards get you down. Oh no, don't let the assholes wear you out. Don't let the mean girls take the crown. Don't let the scumbags screw you around. Don't let the bastards take you down. Been underestimated my entire life. And I know people gonna talk shit. Hey, and darling, that's fine. They won't break my spirit. I'll just keep on living all the way I wanna live. Don't let the bastards get you down. Oh no, don't let the asshole wear you out. Don't let the mean girls take the crown. Don't let the scumbags screw you around. Don't let the bastards take you down. Don't let the bastards get you down. Don't let those assholes wear you out. Don't let the mean girls take the crown. Don't let the scumbags screw you around. Don't let the asshole bastards, everyone, anyone, take you down. Na 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 na. Run away, run away. Na 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 na. Run away, run away.
Yay! I'm like the only person that can actually clap, so I will clap for you. Well, Lima, that was fun. That was you have a lovely voice. I think it's hard to interpret that. Are you singing as you are the bastard that they should not let get them down? Is it
Well,
vice
see,
versa? Is it a little bit of
that's a
both?
really great segue to what I've been thinking about today. About oh shit, my phone just fell on the floor. Are you still there?
I'm here. Hopefully you didn't break your phone.
You know, this thing is pretty amazing. You know, this. Anyways, no, it's not broken.
Well, let me before we go on. I do just want to say I asked you to come on. You to sing. You sang. Thank you for doing that. That is the first live performance on air. And it's a first live singing performance. Bucky's actually been on and played some violin. But thank you for doing that. It is wonderful to hear your voice. It is quite lovely.
You're welcome. A lot, but it's okay.
All right. So, what are the thoughts for today? You earned your stake in the show. Have at it.
Okay, so I was I'm kind of like helping out / stalking Beans and her podcast. And so I was in that podcast where we talked, that was her whole thing, was talking about the flagging, but also we're still talking about bots, and we're just in general talking about minnow, dolphin, whale communication, how to make Steem it better. And for me, you know, we say all the time, like the whales can be bastards, and they can also be just human beings. You know, a lot of people are saying that they're just human beings, you know, and you're just a human being. You're the leader of this huge group of minnows, and you have a lot of power. And, you know, some people might get mad at you and make some things about you and say that you're, you know, whatever. I'm not going to say any of the things that
might be saying.
Bad.
Yeah, it happens.
But you know, we can all have our moments, is what I'm saying. Even you, even though you're like very, and myself, obviously, I have a lot more moments than other people. Sometimes, you know, I can be the bastard, and sometimes I can be the person who, I mean, I connect with this song because it literally, I connect with everything she says. I've been trying to prove myself since I was a kid, you know, forever. Like, that's been my whole life, is trying to prove myself. And I consistently let people destroy my confidence because I put so much emphasis on their opinions and wanting to be people, and not even people that I find valuable, but literally just wanting to be liked and accepted. And it's something that I've been kind of working on. It's not like an epiphany, like I'm suddenly going to be okay with, you know, not be triggered by sexism and all of that, but like it's something that I'm working towards, and it's becoming more and more like important that I make sure, you know, that I don't be the bastard, or that I help whoever you know, gets hurt by some of the things that I've done, that they don't let me take them down. And it doesn't matter, like, obviously if I'm the one that's doing it, or if it's somebody else, I'm just a human being. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at. And then so
that
I'm
almost
babbling,
that
but like,
almost sounded like a little bit of an apology, and hopefully somebody receives it as such. And look, I
I
support you.
mean,
I believe in you. I believe in a lot of your mission. I know that that's going to ring some people here the wrong way, but I think that there are certainly times when women have kind of the shit end of the stick, and we have a pretty gender-based society at times, and it doesn't do nice things for them at times. And in other ways, they certainly benefit. But I can understand when you get to a certain point and you just say, you know what, I don't consent to this, and I can actually really respect that point. So. Lexi, we're not gonna get into this. I'm not gonna fight. I'm just gonna say, look, there are parts of this that make a lot of sense to me, and so I'm glad that you came on. I'm glad that you're singing. I'm glad that you have some perspective that at times you might be the bastard, because I think that's helpful and healthy. And I look forward to seeing what you and the Girl Power server create. And I think finding a space that can help empower people. That's going to be challenging to shape, but you'll get there. And I look forward to seeing what you guys create out of it.
thank you.
All right. I'm going to pull you off the show. Is this okay? This is a good stopping point? All right. I'm going to take you off. That was Lima Bean. Lima Bean was kind enough to come on air and sing. That was at my direct request. So I'm quite happy that she did that. All right. So next up, I still got a lot of people, and I don't know how late I'm going to stay up here, because I got to get up pretty early to go drive up to like middle of nowhere, Maine. And that takes a while. And I'm still sleepy from 6 a.m. when my 5-year-old walked up and said, "Daddy, here's some cake. It's time to wake up." So I was grateful for the cake, but I'm still recovering from the early morning. So the next thing to do, the only reasonable thing to do, is bring one of the newest junior moderators to the Minnow Sport Project team live on air. Speaking of which, you are listening to MSP Waves Radio. I am your host, Skanky J, also known as Witness 11 Aggroed. You are in the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty chat room, and this is the MSP Waves radio station, the streaming internet station that was in part created, or the people currently leading this are Rondon and Global Cop, and they're doing a phenomenal job. So much so that Rondon was actually recently promoted to senior moderator. And here's my little shout out and a quick love note to Ron. So well deserved. So we have on one end of the spectrum our longtime serving radio hosting tech guru Ron, and we have one of our poetry brand new, maybe not brand new, but really well adored, highly playful, quite charming, and very creative Clay Boyne. Clay, it is lovely to have you on the show this evening. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm actually really quite glad that you were there at the end of that, because I just went on for like a minute, and it would have been terrible if there was dead air. The bastard didn't hear me. But you did.
Hey, look, I'm a sci-fi fan. I'm used to those crazy monologues, so I mean, it's all good.
Yeah, I get my like a bad guy in The Incredibles. It's easy to get me monologuing. So, what brings you on the show tonight? What can we talk about? What's of interest? What do you want to get out into the universe today?
Yeah, well, before joining the whole mod team and everything, I told you that curation is one of my biggest goals on the platform. It's one of the things that I spend most of my time doing.
Awesome.
So I'm actually here to promote Make a Minnow. If anyone does not know what that is where we pick a community member. I want to say it's twice a month.
Correct? Yeah.
Right. I'm sure it's the way we do it is there's a nomination round one week, you vote the next week, and then like the third week we would be nominating another person, and we keep it rolling, so that way we basically have delegated SP out to new community members to get them upvoting and promoting other new content. It's kind of like a way for one of the bigger accounts. This is actually donated by Eternarix. If you don't know him, he's one of our biggest benefactors. So, like I said, I just wanted to kind of promote it, get people involved. This is actually a voting week, but as soon as this one ends in like 4 days, you can start nominating again. We've lowered the requirements a lot. You have to be a delegating member to be nominated and to nominate. But other than that, it's a lot more simple. It's not like one of those good boys clubs where you have to, be in the group to get a win. Like this week, for example, let's see, we have Sun Ravel Me got nominated, Hope Hugs got nominated, Top K-Pop got nominated, and it's actually pretty close, so that could still change. If anybody did nominate and hasn't voted yet, please go vote. And it's just, like I said, there's nothing, it's not costing us anything. This is a donation, and it goes straight into the community to promote new users. So it's like one of the best things you can be doing right now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of it. I was a big fan of it the second that I was born. I think that we've gone a long way to making this a much more transparent, much more clear, really well run, and I'm excited. I feel like it's honestly one of the best honors that you can get as a minnow right now. Maybe you could go buy yourself a delegation, but it doesn't come with the status of the Minnow Support Project saying, we think you're a beast and you're awesome and we love you. Here's a bunch of SP and here's a whole community that supports what you're doing. Because that's what comes with Make a Minnow. And I feel like, the folks that win this get some status, get some stature. A handful have already found themselves on the mod team and trying to give back to other people that share that curation vision, share that dream, and want to help other people be successful. And there's like a mission-driven part of this too. And I don't know, the whole thing, I really like it. I'm glad to see it running. I'm glad to have you promote it, and glad that we've had some fantastic winners already come through, and Azaria was one of the first people to kick that off. I still think that she's a phenomenal musician, extremely talented, love her music, there's like, literally I forgot for a moment that I was listening to some of her songs, and I was like, who is this? This is really freaking good. And I was like, oh yeah, this is Azaria. This is coming out of my own freaking pond. This is like, I don't know. So to have folks that care about curation and care about that, it's awesome. Thank you for taking a leadership role in there and helping to spotlight that program so we can spotlight some minnows.
Right. Like I said, I hope we see more participation grow and we get to see it be a bigger thing.
Yeah, so if you guys are in here and you haven't voted on that post, or you haven't, there's going to be a next round. The next round, you can go nominate some folks. So go work on nominating. I think I might have to go nominate Stacy Jean next. I think that's happening. So that'll be my next nomination that I'll put forward. So that's what I got. You guys are swell. Clay, anything else that you want to share as sort of a last moment here?
I think that's it for today.
All right. Well, Clay, you've just been listening to Clayboyne on the Minnow Mayor Town Hall show. Clayboyne is our recent addition as a junior moderator. And obviously, I should have told all the ladies up front to be wary of your ears, because it's hard to not fall in love with that deep voice. But that's what we got. Menno's going to be next. Here's another sort of upbeat gentleman. Menno, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing great, my friend.
It sounds like you are. You have a little bit of that enthusiasm that Cubby does. So I'm looking forward to having a bright conversation with you. Hopefully you have good news to share and I'm not setting myself up for disappointment.
No, not at all. Great news, great news. I mean, I actually took the liberty to do something to you, but it's a good thing.
Okay. So, what did you do to me? What have you done?
So some people in the chat know, some people in MSP know that like 2 weeks ago we had David Pacman join Steem. He's a really big YouTuber.
He's out of Boston. And he's like an hour from my house or something.
Yes. So what I did today was I convinced David Pacman to come to your show.
That's amazing. That's amazing because he's syndicated to like 150,000 people, and I'm syndicated to
Exactly,
at
bro.
least
So now you get
20
to
to
be the boss.
40. Yeah, I'm not going to be the boss of him, but that's if he comes on here, that's fucking amazing. I would love that. I would gladly send you 100 Steam for that opportunity, and hopefully he will go share that experience far and abroad. We'll see if that happens. And when do you expect that would happen? What do you think that'll be?
Well, we just got to coordinate it with him. But basically, long story short, and I say this from the heart, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I think you represent what Steam is supposed to be all about, you know. And so I can't think of anybody else that would be the right leader for me to be like, hey, this is one of the leaders of the platform that you should know, Pacman. And also for him to make a post about it so that all the traffic that he's bringing into the platform ends up in here. You know what I
Um,
mean? Because
Yeah, I mean, it's the first place they ought to go, right? Because presumably the 150,000 people that he's getting his name out to, or that are constantly listening to him or subscribing to him or whatever, like if they come here, they're going to be minnows to start. I mean, maybe some of them will be, on the wealthy side, and maybe some of them won't. But um, this is a great place for any minnow. Even if you kind of like cheat being a minnow and like you're a rich boss tonight and you're like, hey, I got $8 million because I live in the city and have a sweet banking job, but I'm gonna go join the Steam It thing and see what this is like. You still have to learn how to like write in Markdown. Nobody knows what Markdown is, and even if I use the term Markdown, half of you probably don't even know what that is. But that's like the writing language that you use while editing on the Steam It blog or like as you're posting. So like even if you're really bright and smart and already have tons of money and just buy your way into Steam, you still got to figure out how to freaking do this thing. So yeah, this is a great spot for them. This is a great place for that. If that happens, I'll go send you 100 Steam, and would be pretty awesome.
no, it's definitely happening. Like I said, I've been talking to him since he got on the platform almost every day. We kind of become friends. So he was asking me today. He's like, "Listen, what do I want to get more involved. I want to learn more about Steam. What do you think I should do?" And then without asking you, I kind of threw you under the bus. I said, here's what we should do. Is we get you on the Minnow thing, and I explained to him more or less what it's all about and what the family is all about. And I said so that these people can know who you are, and then we make a big fuss about it. You let everybody know that you're doing this thing with Agrod, and then Agrod lets everybody know that you're coming onto his show. We make a big deal, and hopefully we make enough noise that we'll get to 6,000 minnows before the year ends. I
Yeah,
mean, wouldn't that be amazing?
it would be freaking awesome. I'm totally impressed. Menno, nice job. Way to be an advocate for this place. Thank you for being an advocate for me. I will do my absolute best to represent not just the Minnow Support Project, but really as a witness and as a good Steamian. Hopefully, I can go share some of what this platform's about, and I would gladly engage with him. So, I appreciate how tricky it can be to be a young political pundit, basically. And there are parts of what I think he stands for, that there are parts of that I quite like. And so maybe we can find some common ground here. And at the very least, I can do my best to welcome him to the platform. I've already re-steamed at least one, maybe two of his posts, just trying to get some eyes on that. So I'm glad that I did that, because now I feel like, hey, this can be somewhat mutual, in part because not all of his subscribers are paying him, whereas the people on this platform will. So maybe he can get me some non-paying eyes, and I can get him some whale support or something like that. And maybe there's ways that we can help one another. So we'll see where that goes, but that would be quite exciting, and that would be awesome. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah. So
one second, Rondon. I'll go as long as people want to talk. I'll keep talking to folks. I'm not going to go shut down the show. I'll let anybody that wants to speak, I'll let them speak, and I'll stay here as late as I have to, because this is what I do. I love this show. I love this group, and you folks are important to me. So if you got something to say, I'll sit here and listen. So sorry to cut you off and not listen to you, Menno, but I needed to go respond to Ron. So. So hit me. What else did you want to share? Sorry to interrupt.
no, that's it. I don't want to hog the microphone for too long. I'm gonna DM you his email so that we can coordinate it. But maybe I don't know when the next one would be. Is it gonna be next Sunday. But of course,
it's all these Sundays. But if he wants a special time, I can go make that happen. I'm happy to go give you my email address as well. And yeah, I'm happy to coordinate. He and I could even get together. What the hell do I care? We can figure that out. We could go do this in person if you'd like, because I think he's less than an hour away. And next week's a pretty good week for that because it's Thursday's Thanksgiving. So if he's not running away for Thanksgiving, but he's actually in town, then I can be pretty free and flexible to go hang out. But whatever, I'll make it work. I will make that a priority. And Minnow, thank you very much for setting that up, and I'll do my best to represent this platform to the best of my ability.
I'm super confident in you. I know you will.
All right.
So that's it. I'm not gonna hug the microphone.
Well,
love you guys.
You're awesome. Nice job, Minnow. Thank you very much. So who knew that little gift was coming? But that's pretty exciting. I still got a bunch of people that want to go on the show, so I'm gonna go skip some music. Azaria, thank you, Cubby, for putting Azaria in there. Although it doesn't look like Azaria is there on mine. So I'm going to go put Azaria in there on spot 11. I guess I'm going to go pull up Michael CJ. I think he's next on the list. So, hey, Michael, you are listening to MSP Waves Radio with your host, Agrode, who is currently playing the role of DJ. And when I do that, I'm Skanky J. So how are you this evening? Can we at least hear your voice just to do a quick mic check? And see, that's why we do these mic checks. Michael, you there? See, if you're gonna be in the waiting room, you gotta be there. You gotta be ready for it. So I'm gonna pull Michael back. We can go move him back later. Next up, I see Your Nomad Soul. So let's go see if Your Nomad is good to go. Your Nomad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. So welcome back to the show. How are you this evening?
I'm pretty good. It's this morning where I am. It's 10 to 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you up late or getting up early right now?
Up
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah. It's I woke up extremely late because it was Sunday, and then, because I woke up extremely late, I ended up not being able to sleep. So,
all right.
Yeah, here I am.
So what brings you on the show tonight? What can we talk about? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions. The first one being, what do you think Steemit offers in terms of or do you think that Steemit can be a platform for things like citizen journalism? Which we saw almost take off with Twitter and with Facebook, but then it got co-opted by advertising.
So my answer is an unequivocal yes. This group is the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty chat room. The part of that that's liberty based is that this can be a censorship-free environment. If you would like to report a story that like the corporations, which are basically the big banks, which is basically the Federal Reserve money printing system, which owns the banks, which owns the corporations, which own the local news stations. If you want to get your story out, it is quite challenging to do that. And if you want to do it here, you write a post. And I think it very much can be a fantastic fit.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I like that you say that, because my follow up to that question, and that's basically all I came on to, is to kind of pick your brain on ideas of citizen journalism and Steemit as a platform. But what I'm trying to get at, or what I'm thinking about next, given your answer, is implementation. Like, what possible implementations could we start to see cropping up as more and more people start to engage with the possibilities of the platform?
Well, my first thought is wait until presumably the first quarter of next year, and then you get SMTs. And SMT stands for Smart Media Tokens. If you're at all familiar with like Ethereum and the ability of Ethereum to create new tokens, Steem is going to get that ability. And so what you might, if you want to incentivize journalism specifically, then go create an account called, citizen journalism. And when SMTs are ready, get SMTs for that going and pay people that are authoring and find some people that are willing to do this with you and make them whales on this platform or whales in that token, and start paying people in these brand new kind of like SMTs. And if it can catch fire and you can get some place, you'll have this thing of value that you can pay people without necessarily needing, $8 million in your fiat bank account.
No, that's aware. That's cool. That's cool. So then there's the third and final part to this. What kind of role do you see things like D-Sound, D-Live, and D-Tube? What do you see? How do you see them playing?
I think those programs are great. I think that they need a little bit more tech help, and I'm not sure that it's even them so much as the network that they're based off of. I'm not quite like amazingly technical yet. I'm working on my skills, but it seems like the IFPS network that it runs off of is not the fastest thing in the world. But as more, like it's a mixed bag. As more apps come onto it, it drains the system. But as more things like start utilizing it, the system gets stronger. And so that will happen in iterative steps. And hopefully at one point, IFPS will be as robust as, say, like a highly centralized thing like YouTube or SoundCloud or something. And so I feel like they are great steps in the right direction. And I know Hyman Danger, I think that's how I say that name, or and I've spoken to the D-Live or the D-Sound people. And I like D-Live as well. Like I think they're really smart, passionate people. I think some of the technology needs to catch up, but as soon as we have sort of a level playing field, and my experience using like DTube is as good as my experience using YouTube, I think YouTube is going to get its ass handed to it. I mean, I know it has like a big market share to begin with, but hey, why don't you post this thing? Maybe you'll get money. You probably won't. If we don't like what you're saying, we will shut you off and shut you out. Alternatively, if you don't like that approach with YouTube, why don't you post on this thing immediately generate income from it and immediately benefit from it? And if it catches all kinds of fire, then you can actually make quite a bit of money, even like a freaking living doing this. And that only works if you're like one of, I don't know, 20 or 30 people on YouTube that actually manage that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like as you were saying that, I was just kind of thinking, one of the things that I have noticed about Steem It as it is right now is that even without DTube, DLive, and DSound, the conventional kind of places that folks use it that have ad-based monetization structures, there is still just a simple video thing that point that you can embed YouTube videos and you can embed SoundCloud files already opens up a transition point for creators on those platforms to already start to see what kind of the Steem It philosophy and what the kind of the Steem blockchain allows. I think
I have like my own technical challenges. Like from this show, I'm going to have 4 or 5 separate recordings. I'd like to go put them all up on DSound, but I don't want 4 or 5 recordings to all show up as separate posts, because then people will yell at me and say, "Hey, you're taking extra auto votes that you shouldn't, and you're being a jerk." So there's some technological way where we can ensure that they still get paid, but I don't have to make 5 posts about it. So as that gets a little better or a little bit worked out, I mean, from the starting point, I think it's a great idea. I think some of the technological hurdles are there. Some of the implementation still needs to be worked out. But honestly, I think, what's not to love, what's not to like? I mean, if you go and find dirt on some politician that, maybe at the worst case, they're a pedophile, and you can go show evidence of that, and you put it into one of these platforms and programs, trying to censor the hell out of it gets pretty freaking difficult. Whereas, you take it to a a newspaper right now, and they might not touch the story because the person has too much power or has too much influence, or they don't want to run the story. Like it just takes out some of those central checks that would allow you to actually have freedom as a journalist to talk about the things you want to talk about.
Yeah, indeed. Making it, I think the only real kind of ethical hurdle is finding a way to resist the impulse of kind of tribalism and drawing lines in the sand, and people using it as a platform to simply voice opinions as opposed to news. And that's where I think
that's what like half this thing is. It's just people stating their opinions. But I don't think that's harmful. Those are called editorials, and editorials are part of your thing. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't necessarily see it as harmful if there's some sort of balance behind it. Like, and I don't mean like, just show the other side of the story. That's not what I mean in terms of balance. I mean in terms of kind of, you've got, like, I'm okay with people voicing their opinions as long as they state them as their opinions. You know what I mean? It's when you're presenting opinions as facts that we start to degrade, and all you need there is a truly open forum where people can raise counter arguments, but at the end of the day, people will figure out. I like to believe that the truth is the truth, no matter where it comes from.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Because you're going to AstroTurf is quite a powerful thing, and there's powerful interests that make it so that they don't want you experiencing that truth, and they will create fake truth and truthiness and hide whatever they're doing. They like the people that don't want you to know will do their absolute best to cloud it with idiotic opinions, and they get promoted, and so everybody says, well, your argument's stupid, look at that person making a stupid argument, and it's used to like drive attention elsewhere. We're not going to get away from that, but what we can do is help people, train them to think critically and say, hey, maybe that thing that was there that sounded a lot like AstroTurf was actually AstroTurf, and maybe we shouldn't believe it.
I'm with you on that. I think that what we just need to do is we just need to redefine like the value, the way that we value information, and which I think Steemit has already begun that conversation. Just because we've gone from a model where your buying power is directly proportional to disposable income, whereas on Steemit your buying power is effectively yourself and your skills, which in turn gives you a way into the community. Like I've found that like you were talking about with the idea of shitposts and how to spot a shitpost from earlier. I believe that, or at least I think that trend of shitposting comes from people trying to access the system without utilizing any meaningful skills. And I find that Steemit as a community has made itself very resilient to that kind of behavior, simply because the value is in the work that you do on the platform.
Yep, we have a pretty healthy immune system. That's one of the ways that I think Stella Bell likes to talk about that. And I like that. We do have a good immune system. And, the people here, I kind of think of us as having a pretty woke community, and that woke community can spot some bullshit. And, whether it's coming from Matt Trainer or somebody else, we'll spot some bullshit and shut it down. So,
that's the way.
All right. Well, Nomad, thank you for coming on the show. Hopefully next time you can come back with some poetry, because I definitely enjoyed the wordplay from last time. And,
I might have one here, but I think we're out of time.
I think we're out of time this time, but we can go do that.
All right.
We can do that the next time you're on, and come
All
share
right.
some work, and hopefully you can share something. I think the last time you did this, it wasn't like a live. It wasn't a live post you were sharing. So this next time, when you
Yeah.
by next Sunday, hopefully you come back and you can share some poetry, and I can re-steam that and get out into the world.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
fun. All right. Take care.
this is your Nomad Soul. Thank you for coming on to the show. I'm going to bring you back into the audience. And I got Azaria. Azaria seems to want to go on the show. Azaria, oops, I meant to drag you in. She can drag herself in. Azaria, you are live on the show. Can you say hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. It's been so long. It's been nearly 24 hours without us interacting, and I was getting lonely. It is.
I know, right? I was like, hey, you know what? I haven't talked to you in a while, so.
Yeah, no. You got to keep the communication going, and I can be a hard guy to reach. So sometimes if you just want to show up on the show and tell me the thing that you need to say, then that works too. Some people just say hi in DMs. We can just do this on air all the time. Why do we need why do we need anything that's kind of like what
That's
can't
right.
we broadcast publicly?
That's right. We're not going to DM anymore.
No.
We're just going to communicate on air.
We'll just keep going back and forth between one another's shows, and between both of us, we have like 6 shows or something. So yeah, we'll make it happen. Well, we have a lot of topics that we could discuss. What was on your mind for tonight? What did you want to kind of share or make a?
Really, I just wanted to. Well, first of all, Clay and Minnow want me to give a shout out to about Cheez-Its and chicken nuggets. So it was. I got to give that out.
That's what this is about. Cheez-Its and chicken nuggets. That we are bringing. That's where my show is going. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Oh shit! That's been fantastic. Thank you all for coming this evening. Fucking
That's right.
Cheez-Its and chicken nuggets. Clay, I'm gonna have your ass for that. All right. Well, now that that's happened, what else are we here to talk about?
Yeah, you know what? I've kind of lost my mind at this point after being on the radio all weekend. So, really, I just wanted to promote a couple things.
Hit me.
Yeah, like Love Juice. I know I keep talking about it.
Oh no, you can talk about Love Juice as much as you want on air with me.
All right,
I'm the guy. Go ahead.
You're the man. You're the Love Juice man. So I wrote a post.
That word is so internet ready. I'm so proud of myself for that.
The Love Juice man. I wrote a post about opportunities for minnows, and I was talking about Love Juice. And anyone who's listening, if you're a minnow out there and you make like less than 5 SPD generally on your posts, you can send me your post idea and I will post it through Love Juice and you'll get 5 SPD. Okay. It's such a great opportunity. Many people have done it already. And I just want to keep putting it out there to get more exposure for some of the minnows out there. So that's one thing. And then also the Steam It Creative Show. If you have creative posts, you can send them to me and I will promote them during the creative show. And that's basically it. And then, of course,
I want to say one other thing about Love Juice. Love Juice is, in fact, a bid bot. If you are not aware of what a bid bot is, if you send a transfer note with 0.1 SPD over to Love Juice, you'll become eligible for a automatic vote or receive a vote from Love Juice. Love Juice has something like 15 or 16,000 SP on it. Hopefully in the next coming months, I'll get the thing up to 20,000. And we use it, like she said, for 2 main purposes of giving minnows a way to start earning small amounts on the platform, both for buying votes and then also for having their stories kind of blasted out to 1,200 people. Because sometimes it's hard to get started here, and those are 2 good ways that I know of to go get started. And I personally don't necessarily want like a shit ton of erotica on my own blog, but having something like Love Juice where you can post that or write some weird story, or maybe if you have something that like you're a little bit ashamed to go post, but you feel like it needs to get out there, Love Juice is a great place to go store that. So
Yep, that's right. Yeah, you can, post something. You can have your name on the post and say, "Hey, I wrote this," or if you want to do it anonymously, you can do that as well. So
we've had a couple people choose anonymous. I had a couple sexy stories come out that they're like, I'm not I'm not sure I actually want people to know this is from me, and then we found subtle ways to get money to them. And that works. If you want to keep something private, and all right, you should post a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have erotica that you would like to send me, you are welcome to do so. There are certain moderators that I will attempt to get to read it live on air. We'll see how that goes.
Krim did that. I like to read things. I will read it.
You've had those on your show. So
yeah.
I
I made a love juice ad once.
He's gonna put erotic comments on my blog. That's right. Go put your sexy poetry on my next witness post. Hey, this upcoming art fork, I really want to suggest that we don't have mining that's gonna go be responsible for tokens, and I'm gonna have some furry love poem from Clay show up. It'll be excellent.
And now Crimson is slinking away because people are bringing up Crimrotica.
yeah, Crimrotica is a thing. It's a thing. Who doesn't want to hear it?
I think it was awesome.
Yeah,
it went over well. People loved it.
One of the best nights of my life, right there, Crimrotica. What get to go hear some of the sexy posts that I write. I don't always write those. I'm not always so. The word is probably frustrated. I'm not always so frustrated that I need to go spend all kinds of time putting some erotica into the world. But that happened. That had to happen. And then to have her read it and have you read it at times, it's just glorious because both of you have such lovely, charming voices. So it's comforting to me to hear your voices. Maybe not comforting when it's erotica. Maybe there's some other words for that, but whatever. It just welcome to the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to live radio. What are you gonna do? I run a freaking bidbot called Love Juice. Sometimes these things are gonna go a little south.
Comforting erotica. It's a new genre.
Yeah, that's basically like cuddle erotica. I think Playboy might have some little cuddle erotica that he could go write for Love Juice next.
Oh, cuddle erotica. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good times. All right. Well, anything else you wanted to add tonight, Zaria? What else can we put into this?
That's basically it. I just want to talk about cuddles and love juice and opportunities for minnows and Cheez-Its and all that. So it's all good.
Good times. All right. Well, you were listening to Azaria. We had a side conversation here about a little bit bot by the name of Love Juice. Hopefully that was well received by the audience. I'm assuming everybody is into it. So next up, I'm going to go play a quick song here, and then we're going to do. I think Torco wants to talk, so we'll bring Torco on air. So let me go shut off the record.